I believe every man wants to be treated like James Bond in Casino Royale. Particularly the one scene that comes to mind, and I'll get my editor to roll the clip, is that scene where they just got back from the mission and he's sitting by the pool with the girl who he's been kind of talking to and spending his time with the whole time, and she starts, telling a little story to him. Then he makes a little flirty joke at her, then she starts smiling, he's laughing, they're having a good time, and then they fall in love basically after that. Now, how do you become that man? How do you build that, almost dangerous level of charisma that we all admire in the James Bond movies? The first thing is, it's not even what you say, but how you say it. See, what so many of us men obsess over when we go to talk to a girl, or there's, a guy who we want to talk to as a friend, is we think like, oh, what can I say to get this person to like me? How can I talk in this way that's captivating? But you're missing the most important part. It's more actually about your tone and the way you carry yourself that's very important. For example, two guys can say the exact same thing. We'll say ordering dinner as an example, right? A waitress walks up to a guy and she asks him, what do you want to get for dinner? The first guy goes, well, I was looking at the menu and, I think the steak looks pretty good. Could you do that, medium rare? Oh, and, I'll do a baked potato on the side and could you, get rid of the vegetables and just do extra potatoes? And the second guy goes, I'll do a steak, medium rare, no vegetables, extra potatoes. You see how in both cases, like literally the exact same thing was said, but the second guy just said it with so much more confidence and certainty. And the reason for this is because if you speak in this way, where you're not certain of yourself, where you're not sure of yourself, that energy is going to carry off onto other people, and they're going to start to see you as this guy who's not certain of himself. So a simple way that you can just improve this is don't question yourself. Like if there's something that you want or you want to state an opinion, don't state it in this way that's, submissive and unsure of yourself. Just speak your mind. And if people disagree with you, if they don't like what you have to say, then who cares? My mentality is I'm just going to be authentically myself. I'm going to speak my mind. I'm going to say what I want to say. And if you don't like me, whatever, it is what it is. I'm not going to trip out over it, but I'm just going to be myself. Now, the second thing you want to do is you actually want to speak less. Now, I know you're probably saying like, what? That doesn't make any sense at all, because having confidence and having charisma is all about being able to talk people up and say more. But I don't actually think that's necessarily true. I mean, think about the most confident people who you see in movies. It's usually not the person who does the most talking, right? Like James Bond, for example, or Tommy Shelby in Peaky Blinders. They don't talk a lot, but when they talk, it speaks volumes because of how scarce it is, because of how rare it is. And the reason why I believe this works very well is, number one, you're not trying to prove yourself to other people, right? People who speak a lot, people who always have something to say, who always need to be the center of attention, a lot of times it comes from a sense of insecurity because you're really just trying to prove yourself to other people. And the second reason why speaking less is actually more important, especially when you're on dates and especially with women, is because 99% of people, they're obsessed with themselves. They like talking about themselves. They like speaking about their interests, which means the people they talk to, they don't ever get to say what they want to say. They don't ever get to sit there and just talk about their day. So instead of being a guy who's always trying to prove himself to other people and talk about his interests, be the guy who's taking an interest in them, who's asking them questions, who's letting them speak about themselves. Because a very important principle I learned from the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, which is a great book, by the way, I highly recommend you check it out, is that other people want to be the center of attention. And if you let them be the center of attention, if you let them talk about themselves, they're gonna really enjoy being around you and wanna spend more time with you. And another reason why I think this tactic of speaking less is just absolutely great is because if you're anything like me, right? Sometimes you just say some stupid ass shit that leads to you getting rejected or making a dumb comment that you shouldn't say. And a lot of times that comes from a place of desperation. Like when you're out on a date with a girl and you say some stupid shit and you're like, oh, fuck, I shouldn't have said that. Well, if you just focus on speaking less and letting, the girl do 80% of the talking, then you're also just giving yourself less opportunities to shoot yourself in the foot. So it's beneficial in that way too. Number 3, practice, practice, practice. practice. See, a lot of guys have this mentality that I'm just not a confident person. I just don't have good social skills. I just can't talk to girls. When in reality, you just haven't done it enough times. Because think about playing a video game, for example. Imagine if your friend, right, hopped onto Call of Duty, played his first ever game, got like 2 kills and 12 deaths, and said, oh, I suck at Call of Duty, I quit, and I'm just never gonna play again. You would say, well, idiot, you just haven't practiced enough. You just haven't done it enough times. And talking to girls, social skills, is the exact same way, okay? The only way that you're gonna get good at talking to women, talking to other guys in social scenarios, is if you actually practice the skill, right? If you see that girl you wanna go talk to in the gym, and you just walk up to her, you approach her, right? You see that other guy at the gym who you want to make friends with, and you just go, spark up a little conversation with him. Just go say what's up. And now you might be saying, oh, but like, what if I get rejected? What if it doesn't go well? Well, that's the whole point, bro. No man has ever become great at anything without failing, okay? In life, you're gonna fail at things. You're gonna screw up. You're gonna, slip and, eat shit. It's gonna happen, but it's not about when you fail, it's about how you learn from it. Because if you just simply have the mindset that I'm just trying to improve at this, I'm just trying to get better, and I'm not gonna beat myself up if I get rejected. Shit, if that girl doesn't like me, it's her loss. I'm a great guy. That's the mentality that you gotta have. You gotta have that delusion, that self-belief, the belief that you can get to where you wanna be, but only if you actually put the action in and you actually get better. So you got to do cold approaches, you got to talk to more people. And another way you can get a lot better at speaking, and this is very like practical, and I'd highly recommend you do this, is just film yourself speaking for 5 to 10 minutes every single day, okay? For me personally, I create content, so this is a very easy one for me to do. I just watch over my videos, see where I have little weird tics and where I maybe ramble on a bit too much or stutter, and I try to learn from it. I try to improve and get better. And bro, like, I'll tell you right now, when I first started watching my videos over again, it was so painful. Like, it hurt so bad to watch it. But that's the only way I've gotten better, is just by embracing the pain and just trying to learn from it. And I'm still not perfect. I still screw this stuff up all the time. But if you go watch my first few videos on this channel, like after this video is over, go scroll to the bottom of my channel or go click like the oldest videos and just click on one of my first ones. And hopefully you'll see from that, how much I've improved, and it'll inspire you to realize like, oh shit, I can actually get a lot better at this. And I'm not saying you gotta like become a content creator or post videos. Like, even if you're not gonna post them publicly, just film yourself talking about a random subject for 5 or 10 minutes every single day. If you're into basketball, just film yourself talking about your favorite basketball players. Or if you have a favorite movie, just film yourself talking about that movie. Or literally just make a vlog every single day where you just talk about how your day went. And you'll be shocked how fast you can actually improve if you just do this for like 5 or 10 minutes every single day. Now, number 4, we all have insecurities, just accept them. You may not know this just from like following me on my YouTube videos and watching my videos, but something that, I've always been pretty insecure about and I've always struggled with is like, I have a little bit of a stutter, and every now and then it'll come out on camera, and you guys probably don't see it that much because I'll just, cut it out of the video. But sometimes I'll go on a date with a girl and, I'll stumble. I just did it. You see what I'm talking about? I'll go on a date with a girl and I'll stumble over my words a bit, or I'll stutter. And back when I was younger, I would trip out so much over this. Like, before I'd be going on a date with a girl, I would just be saying to myself, oh, I hope I don't stumble over my words. I hope I don't screw this up. I hope I don't stutter. And because of that, when it would happen, when I'd be on a date with a girl and I'd stumble over my words or I'd say something stupid, I would just get in my own head and beat myself up so freaking much over it. And then I would just go in a complete negative downward spiral. And something that really helped me with actually improving at this and having a better mentality is not taking myself so seriously. See, I think so many people in today's day and age, we think we got to be perfect. We think we got to be, so amazing. But in reality, I think when you can just learn to kind of laugh at yourself sometimes, and when you can learn to like not take yourself so seriously, it shows such a higher level of confidence, right? Because for example, you're out on a date with a girl, right? And you stumble over your words. You start getting in your head, oh my God, like there's something wrong with me. Oh my God, I'm screwed. I'll never recover from this. But if you just like stumble over your words and you just kind of laugh at yourself and just, don't take yourself so seriously, that just shows a next level of confidence. It shows that your insecurities, the things that you struggle with, they don't have control over you. You actually have control over them. So when you're in these scenarios, right, you're going on a date, you're talking to a girl, right, don't have the mentality that I gotta be perfect. Just have the mentality that I'm gonna be my best self. And if I screw up, if it doesn't go well, I'll learn from it and I'll get better. But at the end of the day, just realize that we all have that most confident, best, most attractive, charismatic version of ourselves. And we can all get there. We can all unlock it. You just simply have to take the action. So yeah, I'll see you for the next video, bro.